Hi, welcome to Steaming It Up Anywhere. I'm Kristen from NIU STEAM, and with me today is Susana Das Neves from NIU Migrant Education Program. Hi, Susana.
Hi, how are you, Kristen?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good.
Good. So tell us a little bit about what you do and also the Migrant Education Program.
For sure, yes. So, as you said, I'm Susana Das Neves, and I'm the director for the Illinois Migrant Education Services at NIU. A couple of years ago, and we were lucky enough that the Center for P20 submitted an application to get the contract to coordinate the services we provide for migrant education. And I was very honored to be offered this position. And so as a director, what I do is we provide state support to the different local projects that we have across the state of Illinois. We have 7 local projects, all the way from Rochelle, Illinois to Cobden, Illinois, and Southern Illinois, where they have very juicy peaches. And Kankakee, Beerstown, Princeville. Some are very rural areas, some are more urban or suburbs. But the main purpose of migrant education program in Illinois is to provide services to the migratory families that come in the summer, mostly to do all the harvesting and working in the different farms or processing plants in Illinois. The majority of our families come from Texas. So as a receiving state, we help these kids get a little bit, we help them with a lot of instructional services during the summer while the parents are in the fields or in the processing plants. And we try to build, to bridge those academic gaps because of their high mobility. These migratory children oftentimes get pulled out of school before school is over. And then as they follow different crops, they may come to Illinois for corn, for example, but they may go then up north to get, do the fish or something in Alaska or somewhere else, and then start going back. So they also return back to their home states after school starts. So the summer is like a summer school kind of version where we follow a lot of the curriculum that Texas uses and mainly focus on English, writing and reading literacy. And we have a combination of programs where they're housed under non-for-profit organizations, some are in school districts, and others are under institutions of higher education, like Parkland College has a summer program, and then NIU not only has a contract, but we also are a local grantee with the Rochelle NIU program. And then some programs are regular term and summer term, meaning that we have the summer program, and then we, during the regular term, we just supplement services that the school districts don't provide, like tutoring or, social services, connecting the families with resources in their communities. So that's it,
Great.
in a nutshell. Yeah.
In a nutshell, just a few things that you guys.
Just a few things. We do a lot. Yeah.
I know over the last maybe 3 years, the NIU STEAM department has worked with the Migrant Education Program to design STEAM lessons and STEAM activities that could be used during these summer months. And I know talking with you and some of the instructors you work with, one of our big focuses was, yes, the content areas, but also looking at some of that social emotional learning. And can you talk a little bit about how you and your instructors address that through either the STEAM activities or some of the other activities that you do?
Yeah, and yeah, thank you for that question. Within migrant education, we also have different consortia, and Illinois is a member state for the out of school youth or secondary consortia. And within that group, we have a mental health team, and I'm part of that team. And so we discuss how we can use and the what's it called, the design cycle. Yes, the design cycle and the different components and how that can be applied to doing some wellness check-ins for the children, or for the children to do that self-check-in as they go through that cycle, or having teachers facilitate that as well. And how, okay, well, you did this, how to make a volcano go, you know, and what were your expectations or whatever. So the same thing, you know, starting with that inquiring, how do I feel, you know, how my self-reflection. So that first step of inquiring or analyzing is that that self-reflection. How am I feeling today? How that check-in.
Asking those
right,
questions.
right. Those self-questions of that self-check-in, you know, and analyzing, well, what triggers me? What makes me not want to do something? Or why I don't want to come here. I'd rather stay home and do nothing while my parents are in the fields or something. So that they can then have that journaling or doing that acknowledgement just by just talking about it, you know. And then in developing, you know, developing a plan of action, developing a resource list of folks or friends, people that they can go to, or little things they can do, you know, like I know some teachers have done their own personal, like, lava things.
Yeah, those like sensory tubes.
Right. Yeah. And right. I'm not a science person, so excuse me if I don't say the right stuff, but or they've also done their own, like, squishy animals, and they color them. And they create that me corner, or like, not a timeout for punishment, but like a peaceful,
a calming place,
a calming tent. Yeah, a calming corner. That's what
I love it. I need those in my office.
I know, right? Like it looks very pretty, like a little with a, yeah. So so then when you go to that analyzing, you know, that check-in, and then that developing a plan, you know, doing that wellness plan, and how what are some simple steps they can do, you know, especially if they're the parents are gone most of the day, and you know, they may not have, like, grown-ups there all the time, you know, they're in the classroom, but given this time, this summer, you know, it's so very different.
Yes.
How can they do, you know, how can they develop that checklist, you know, of what things they can do when they're starting to feel a little not so good.
I love that idea of taking the design cycle, something that is all about iterative, kind of this iterative process, and applying that to your own well-being, and asking, it kind of puts the control back into your own hands. And
right, yeah,
something doesn't work the first time, you've got that, that self-check to go, why, what could I change? What could I do differently? So that's a great strategy.
Yeah, and then also the creating a solution, and you know, those little things, you know, well, I want to make a squishy, or you know, what's my happy place, or maybe I can watch a movie, or write it out, you know, or go for a walk, you know, as long as it's safe, and they let people know where they are. And, but little things that they can, steps they can take, and little things they can do, crafts or stuff they can do with what they have at home, or things of that nature. And also talking, a lot of times we talk about self-care for the service providers or teachers, but we forget to also teach our children about self-care and what that means, for them, from like, don't eat the whole bottle of ice cream, because that's not going to be good.
Man.
Yeah, I know, right? But what other things you can do to do that self-care and kind of like regroup and come back. And I think that ties into that evaluation, where do I go from now? Did it work? Did having a tantrum or throwing, ripping my math worksheet or whatever, what did that do for me?
Right.
And to all this, I mean, depending on the age level, the grade level or the age or maturity of the children, it may need some guidance, of course, from parents, from the teachers, and with this situation of COVID, again, I'm of the thinking that, a lot of times we put all our attention to the children, like we need to make them school ready and STEAM ready and everything, but the parents need to be ready too.
Right.
So reaching out to the parents and letting them know how they can support this very simple cycle, and they can even implement it on themselves. And it's more like a cooking directions, like, okay, I'm gonna make chocolate chip cookies. What do I need? And the recipes and the strategies. So if you make related to something in their daily lives, that because we have parents from all walks of life, some with some education, some with not so much education, some may be English speakers, some may not, and being attentive to those cultural needs as well, and what that means to them, and I guess paying attention to the parent, because that's if you have the buy-in of the parent, you have 60% of the battle done,
Right.
not a battle, but the walk, the journey done.
Well,
So,
I like the idea of, getting the parents in on this thought process, because it's a great strategy for, when you've got a student or a kid who feels a little out of control or is having a tantrum or is getting frustrated, you can kind of use this process to apply some logic and control into managing the situation, and kind of it becomes this almost systematic or methodical way to think about and make a problem less personal, but as something that you can break it apart and address.
right.
I love that idea of using the design process as a way to for both parents and students to reflect on mental health and create a plan and implement it, see if it works, and if not, what else can we try, and connecting it to the research too.
Yeah, and there's a lot, now that all of this happening, and there's a lot of resources and new ways of approaching social emotional needs. You have now like certified social emotional schools and teachers and all of these, and I also saw in this, I saw how a school in Tennessee, in Nashville, Tennessee, implemented the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And they do that morning check-in with the kids. They're assigned to the different teachers, and I could come to you and say, okay, well, what are your goals today? Susanna, you tell me, what are your goals? 3 goals you want to accomplish today before school starts. I don't want to get in fights. I want to be friendly to my partner, and I will pay attention to school, to class. And then at the end of the school, before they go home, they go and do a checkout. And you can ask them, okay, so did you accomplish this one? Did you, and that in the hallways, because it's a video, you see the win-win, put things first, you know. So yeah, and then even the teachers, you know, if I was a teacher, I can go, hey, you know, I need my sharpening of the saw right now. Can you cover me for five minutes?
Yeah.
And then sure. And then you drop what you're doing and you go to my classroom. I go take my sharpening of the saw again and regroup and come back to my classroom. And I thought that was like magical when I saw that video. So there's a lot of things that are already out there that help find that win-win, and how we can implement it to different settings. And I think that when you know, 7 habits of highly effective scientists, because it's really, you know,
Right.
you see that let's find a win-win so we can make the volcano bubble.
Right.
You know?
That connected to the science practices, the engineering practices,
exactly,
mathematical practices.
And that collaboration if you're in a science team too. So there's a lot of stuff now, but I think for Migrant, you know, with the high mobility and the short time that we have them with us, the sessions, the lessons that you have put together, and the flying of the drones, that was amazing. And they all had a very memorable time last summer when they did that. So,
well, great. Well, these were great strategies. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck with summer programming and with all the students that you're working with right now. And thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.